It's been 22 years since the ceasefire agreement between the Kingdom of Morocco and the Polisario Front. The war, stemming from Morocco's seizure of the territory of Western Sahara, was brought to a halt in 1991, after King Hassan II promised the Polisario and the Sahrawi people whom they represent the chance to vote for their independence in a UN-sponsored referendum. To this day, that referendum hasn't taken place, due to Moroccan obstructions and the unwillingness of the international community to place pressures on Morocco for their explicit violations of international law and human rights. Despite many rounds of negotiations, Morocco hasn't offered any solutions consistent with the Sahrawis' aims to liberate their homeland. But it's now more clear than ever. The Sahrawis are nowhere near giving up. In fact, recent events have suggested that diplomatic efforts have failed, prompting a refocusing on the use of military action against their occupier. The Polisario has remained committed to the so-called peace process and non-violent resistance, knocking on diplomacy's door for over 2 decades. So what's new? Well, new developments are taking place that suggest 2015 could be the year that might host a return to war. In early November, Morocco marked the 39th anniversary of the Green March, the annexation of Western Sahara. During the media event, King Mohammed VI publicly declared that Morocco will stay in the Sahara, and the Sahara will stay in Morocco until the end of time. A bold statement which was unprecedented in terms of official rhetoric. And Polisario did not hesitate to respond. Mohammed Salam Salek, the Sahrawi foreign minister, stated clearly that Sahrawis will have no other choice but to return to armed struggle in the face of Moroccan disregard of international law and the predominant unresponsiveness of the international community. 1 week later, the Sahrawi People's National Liberation Army conducted a military exercise in which live fire was used for the first time in more than 10 years. And it didn't stop there. Last week, Polisario conducted a second live fire military exercise, less than 1 month since the previous one, this time involving a number of combat units, which simulated an offensive against Moroccan tanks stationed behind their sand berms. While the history is still in the making, future outlook on diplomatic efforts is increasingly bleak. Time will tell if this decades-long conflict will result in a commitment to justice. Time will tell if there will be adequate support for the fundamental rights of nations to govern themselves freely. Time will also tell if the military will again be called upon to lift the hand of greed and oppression. New Year's is just around the corner, a time for many people to gather the remains of battered hopes and imagine what gifts the future might deliver. But for the Sahrawi people, as 2015 ushers in the 40th year since their forced displacement, perhaps New Year's is just another day to mourn the loss of all that has been taken from them, and to pledge support for the cause that so many have given their lives for. And so, from all the Sahrawis on this side of the Moroccan wall, to their brothers and sisters on the other, Happy New Year. Here's to a very different 2015.